Alright, dear brothers and sisters, as I promised you, we're going to have discussion today also. It is Saturday, August 12th, 2017. I'm not going to take long. Our topic is going to be the division of South Sudanese, how South Sudanese got divided. And also, we are going to talk about the speculation that we are hearing these days, that how Kir wanted to hand over the power to certain group and he wanted to step aside. We want to get on the bottom of it and make sure, is that true or they are just a speculation or just rumors, you know. So two topics we are going to be speaking about today, and he's going to be English and Arabic as well. Like I said, because most South Sudanese, they use both languages, you know. And Arabic is predominantly spoken in South Sudan around 80% or 90%, if I'm not mistaken. And English is only 20%. All right. So, coming to the issue of division and unity, we are all well aware. إنه مسألة بتاعت الانقسام في جنوب السودان بدأت من زمن أبل الير. I'm gonna speak clearly because Abel Alier was the root cause of division. It was the root cause that the other tribe in South Sudan didn't like the reputation of Dinka. Because if we realize Joseph Lago, he's from Equatoria, and he was the leader of Anyanya One that time for 17 years. And after signing the Addis Ababa Agreement in 1972, we were not born then. Most of you were not born, I know that. So what happened? They came in, and South Sudan was giving an autonomy so they can govern themselves. So Joseph Lago, being a leader at that time, signed a peace deal. Actually, Abel Alier was within. They were like a candidate that's advocating for the peace within Sudanese government that time. So when Joseph Lago came in, and then the peace deal was signed, and things were settled that time. Unfortunately, Abel Alier, you know, it was having echo because he won power that time. And Equatorian, they were humble enough. They put him in power, actually. They voted for him, and he was in charge of, I believe it was called National Coordination for South Sudan that time, if I'm not mistaken. So what had happened, the reason that I said the Equatorian, they start, you know, disliking the Dinka, or the other tribe of South Sudan, they start disliking the Dinka, is because of misbehaviors that Abel Alier exercised that time. Lano Abel Alier could be raised, and instead of bringing everybody together as South Sudanese, they were fighting for an autonomy. يكون في حكم ذاتي، يكون في فيدرالية في الجنوب في البلد. And instead هو يعني وكنت بقى في السلطة لجأ على إنه مثلا نجيب ناسه، you know, nepotism and favoritism. لجأ على إنه مثلا نجيب ناس من تجاه بتاعهم. So he went to his own village and he started hiring, you know, people with no education background, with no knowledge of how to administer, you know, the issue of the state and the city. So these people came in, and they were so brutal that time. The facts are the facts, and we have to say them, whether our people like it or not. And this is the only way that we can get out of the trouble and reconcile. But without instating the fact and telling the past what happened, reconciliation is not going to be happening easily. So Abel Alier hiring the police forces. Someone doesn't even speak Arabic, doesn't speak English, doesn't speak any, there is no any other form of communication with other tribe in Juba that time. So he put them in police forces. And then they start threatening, Equatorian, that time. So that's how the root cause of hatred, came. That's how it came. So now, with that happen, so Equatorian fell, you know what? It is better for us to be alone then. If our own brothers now are exercising the politic of nepotism, instead of exercising transparency among South Sudanese that time, so Equatorian, they came out with something called Kokora, and I think most of you knew about it. So they didn't start the problem actually. Abel Aliari started it by hiring people from his own, town, his own village, to be in charge of the fair, of the police and commission and all these things. And they mistreated people in Juba that time. So these people got pissed off. And they start calling for, division that time in 80s. Of course, our enemy that time, President Nimeri, he was looking for just, a small mistake from South Sudanese so he can, destroy the Addis Ababa peace agreement. And Abel, by exercising that kind of politics, actually gave him an opportunity that time, to destroy the peace agreement. And that's how about South Sudan was divided on 3 major regions that time: Upper Nile, Greater Upper Nile, Greater Bahr Ghazal, and Greater Equatorial. It's because of what Abdelaziz had exercised that time. So now, the Addis Ababa peace agreement is gone. There was no way for self-determination, and we went back to square one again because we caused that division. So the point I want to make here, every time we exercise nepotism, we exercise mistreating others, we are likely to be divided. So our late Dr. John Hero went to the bush again and riled South Sudanese behind SPLA, and they fought for justice, liberty, and prosperity, and everybody followed through, and we were able to accomplish the self-determination, which is ended up having independence of South Sudan in 2011. Now the same scenario repeated itself again. In his state, President Kiir coming after Dr. John's death, and instead of bringing new ideologies that will unite South Sudanese, he started exercising the nepotism, the favoritism again. And look what happened. We are more divided again. So this thing has been going on for so long. So this is what it should have been done. لما نحن أخذنا استقلال, President Kiir and those of Abel Alier and those of Joseph Lago, they're supposed to come forward to the people of South Sudan. ويقولوا كلام واضح. إحنا في اتفاقية أديس أبابا فشلت نتيجة الطمع اللي كان عندنا، نتيجة إحنا ما قدرنا ندير ناسنا بإدارة فيها ترانسبيرنسي، فيها مساواة وفيها عدالة، عشان كده إحنا فشلنا. الآن عشان ما يحصل اللي كان حصل المرة الماضية، إحنا عايزين ناخد clear measures and clear objective. Right? And Abelaye is supposed to apologize to the people of South Sudan, particularly Equatorian. But unfortunately, all these things didn't happen. And then they start dealing with the issue without, looking in the past, what happened actually in the past. And that's why we went down to the problem again. So, في مثل بيقول united we stand and divided we fall. And I realize this every time when South Sudanese are not united, they fail. Every time we have issues, we always fail. And I think we should learn from this. We should learn from the past. But unfortunately, it's not happening. So, عشان كلام ده كله يكون في حاجة كويس ويكون في unity في المستقبل القريب. Leaders like Abel Alier, like Joseph Lago, they must come forward to the people of South Sudan and apologize for what they have done in the past. لأن the root cause of hatred الحاصل في جنوب السودان ده ما بدأ only في 2013. بدأ من 80s. ما بدأ من 2013. بدأ من 80s. And that's why I'm calling upon them to come and apologize before the people of South Sudan and set up the record straight. لأنه كلام ده لو ما حصل كده, there is no way we can have peace and justice and prosperity for the future to come. Okay? Because this thing has been going on for a long time. Now, another point that I want to make, I already, explained that in a few speculation, there is some rumors that Kir want to hand the power over to a neutral person. But who is that neutral person? I'm hearing some news that I have disagreement as a person. I have my own opinion. Gal Museveni, he is proposing, the wife of the late Dr. Jongkor Mayol should be the head of the interim period of the government, the coming period interim government. يكون في رئاسة الحكومة temporary حكومة المؤقتة. أي حاجة بيجي من مسافين دايما عنده ضرب طويل يا جماعة. وكلام ده we need to think a lot about it. I'm so glad that young South Sudanese now they start speaking out, especially from my own area. I've seen people now doing live video. They are concerned what happening, and they start raising their voices, which is a good thing because we have been saying this for a long time. People need to speak up. People need to speak up. So أي حاجة دايما بيجي من Museveni is not good. Anything always coming from Museveni is not good, and we realize that. And I made my own analogy. I think for the last clip that I have made. Museveni actually was aware that South Sudanese, they were fighting for justice, liberty, and prosperity. South Sudanese, they were fighting so they can be different than those countries in the region. Sudan, Ethiopia, Uganda, Congo, Kenya, all these countries surrounding. We were fighting so we can be different. How we can be different? We can be just to our people. We can have freedom. We can have prosper. We can build roads. We can build bridges. And we can have Tenmia. It could be Tenmia. That's why people of South Sudan fought. But actually, Museveni, he knew this, with no question. Nazel, they are hard workers. Junubin, they are hard workers. They were able to fight together for 21 years plus. And they achieved what they've been fighting for. Now, for them to achieve democracy and liberty and prosperity and you couldn't fit Tenmia, it's very simple. They are going to do it. But for him to protect himself, because he has been in power for 30 years plus in Uganda, and actually Uganda is a nation of 41 million, and South Sudan is a nation of 12 or 14 million. All right? We eat the same food. We almost have the same similarity in our culture and the way we do things. So South Sudan, it became a democratic nation on the northern side of the country, of Uganda. The people of South Sudan are likely to influence people of Uganda. So, in order for Museveni to stop this, movement of democracy that's coming, because the country already got independent, And now they are settling. They wanted to do their own thing. So he has a worry. In Nazdel, Bad Mahum, you settle. When they settle, and having democracy and all this thing, they will influence my people. Right? And you guys remember, Kanfi LRA in northern Uganda. South Sudanese were able, to flush them out. Because we didn't accept, LRA to be around the area. So now, if the Ugandans are suffering from the ruling of Museveni, and now we are enjoying democracy, I bet, Museveni has fear here we are likely to influence, because people will have some uprising in Uganda, thinking about, hey, you've been there for 30 years plus, and we don't see any form of, development, or Uganda is not changing for any better. So that's why actually, Museveni was able to call Kir and say, hey Kir, you can use actually your large ethnic, because you are they are warriors, and you can suppress all other political, in South Sudan, and you can remain in power. Kir actually didn't calculate it in the right way, and just rushed to advice of Museveni, and that's why we are in chaotic situation. Now, if Museveni start, the new strategy that there in South Sudan, we go like, okay, I'm proposing, it could be interim period, for example, 3 years, another 3 years, or somebody who will head that interim period should be this person. Do you think Museveni has something good for us? I doubt Museveni has something good for South Sudan, because Museveni wants to see South Sudan is destroyed. Because South Sudan, if it is stable, if we have peace, if we have justice, and if we start, development, South Sudan is going to be a destination of investors from Europe, from China, from all over across the board. Because we have very good fertile land. We have the oil. We have the national resources. We have the minerals. Unlike Uganda. So these are fear, that Uganda is fearing. If we are stable, we are likely to attract the investors, and our country will grow, and they will not get what they are getting right now. Because imagine now, South Sudan, like that professor from Kenya said, it became hunting field. People come and hunt. When they kill the deers, whatever, I don't mean deers, when they get the money, whatever they need, they go, and build houses somewhere there. This is the politics that Museveni won, actually. So Kenya, and also Ethiopia. So there is no country here in the region actually hoping that for South Sudan to be stable. Because we will attract all the investors and we will grow. And now, if we live in peace and harmony, they are not going to get what they used to get. So that's why Museveni is trying to distract South Sudan and cause a chaotic situation, by advising Kir, in whatsoever, happening. So what I try to say here, we South Sudanese are the people that have right. We know that Kir failed totally 100%. He was a hero, but he didn't know to administrate the country. And that's why we have violence, we have human rights violation, we have all these things. Now, if really the rumors that we are hearing, or a speculation that we are hearing, are true, we should not listen to Museveni to propose who should be the interim leader of South Sudan. South Sudan are capable on their own affairs. We are capable of administering ourselves. We are capable of knowing who should be. First of all these people, they have issues among themselves. No one is clean. Nyandeng have a lot of issues. She was one of in the government as well. So, if they want Nyandeng to be in charge, we're still going to have some problem. In my own opinion, we need someone who has never, been part of this government. We have a lot of good people. For example, the Bishop Farid Taban. Most of you know this guy. And he's an Equatorian guy. He's very patriot. He loved the country. He stood by Dr. Jongkor for a long time. These are the people that if really we need this country to move forward, and we want good interim leader, عشان مهام بتاعه بس يكون شغل بتاع يجهز للانتخابات ولا إدارة السكاني ويكون rewriting the constitution. Farid Taban, I think, will be the right man, because no one is going to complain about Farid Taban. No one from Baragazal is going to complain about him, neither from Upper Nile or nor from Equatoria, because the man is a neutral, right? But we will say now, oh, we wanted to bring, for example, Nyandeng. Nyandeng has a lot of baggage. Nyandeng has some antagonists to some region of South Sudan. So the others, whether they are in detainees or they are in opposition or in the IO, they have all antagonism toward each other. So the right man that should lead the interim government should be Paride Taban, because the man is very neutral. He's no longer a bishop. Okay? He stood by Dr. John Garang for a long time. And he loved the country, and he cared, and he wants something good. This is my opinion. Those leaders like Abel Alier, now I see him, he's in national dialogue whatsoever. What national dialogue you are going to bring in this country? When some people are being excluded, not to participate. And you know that Abel Alier has the past. أنا ذكرت لكم قبل في 70s. يعني لعبة الكراسي اللي كان يحصل بينه وبين جوزيف لاغو دمر جنوبين وخلى جنوب السودان ينقسم. So Abel Alier must, apologize first to the people of Equatoria, because he's the one that caused all this destruction actually, Nepotism that he started in 70s. Laman jab nas from his own village, his own town, Khatambi Bolis, and then they become brutal to Equatoria and all these things. Caused dislike, And عشان كده أنا قلت لو نحن عايزين to set record forward لأنه دائما to solve the problem, you need to solve the problem from the root, and you have to admit انت عملت غلط. Yes, أنا عملت غلط يا جماعة وكان كذا 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 كذا, and I don't want this thing to happen again. But it's clear, it's like black and white. Like if you are trying to avoid it, utamshi be daira tani, uteji bejai, it's not going to take us anywhere. Abel Alier need to come forward. Joseph Lago need to come forward. They need to apologize to the people of South Sudan. We need to sit around table and start resolving all these issues. Do the census, do national commission, and then do the election. If the rumors that I'm hearing, الآن ذكرت لكم قبل شوية إنه مثلا في proposal from Museveni, and Museveni doesn't have good faith in South Sudan because actually he wanted to destroy it. He already destroyed South Sudan by advising Kir, hey, use this, and your ego, and you are so and so, and you can remain in power by bringing all this, armed group that's allied to a tribal thing. So, in order for us to get to the point that we belong together and we are going to the right path, these are the steps that must be taken. لكن نحن لما قاعد نقول حقيقة لأنفسنا, أو if we don't accept self-criticism, لما أنا أقول من ياك دور ياكو من نوير or من شلوك, you know what? We are not going to go anywhere. I said this many times. We are all belong together. Or مثلا you come out and saying that, hey, والله يا قبل دانينا يا ضربنا بسلاح نحن كنا هناك هم نازل ما جو. في كلام أنا ذكرته قبل كده. أنا قلت لكم يا جماعة, when you see your number is big, your number is big because of your population. And that population, if we wanted to do something, and a lot of people come in and join, it's because of that number, right? You cannot undermine others because being just, smaller numbers. It's not going to do anything. And that's why I have been consisting, we have to accept self-criticism. We need to forget the ego. All this ego will bring us down. The ego will not let us grow. Because أنا قلت كلام ده مرة الفات ما في زول عنده ذنب ولا عنده قرون. We are all South Sudanese. يا الناس نفس الناس أسود بناكل أكل سوا. We are the same people. Fairness is the most wonderful thing. نحن كنت حاربنا for 21 years. نحن حاربنا عشان نحن دايرين fairness. نحن حاربنا عشان Arab, or the so-called Arab, they are not actually Arab. the northerners. They mistreat us. And that's why we came together as people of South Sudan. We didn't come there as the Bakau or Ondogo or Kresh or so on. The same concept must be applied, in the issue of governing, in the issue of, of allocation of the resources and all this, If we apply the same method that Dr. Jongkor has used, I think we should, enjoy the transparency and justice and liberty for all South Sudanese. Otherwise, we are not going to go anywhere. And I keep saying this, and like I said a little early, I'm so grateful. Most South Sudanese out there realized and they start speaking out. يوم داك لما أنا نتكلم في simple نقاش لما تتكلم بس يقول لك يا أخي تمونو يا أخي تتكلم أنت ولا تمونو ذاته. Well, I made it clear last time. أنا قلت يا أخي Dr. John ما كان ولد بتاع منو ولا ولد بتاع منو. It was some just زول مسكين. لكن he knew what it take, to fight for the right of the people. And I am not advocating to go and carry the gun and fight the government. We have to speak out and non-violence. Because violence always doesn't solve any problem. Think about what I said. Faridi Taban is a neutral person. If we need a good interim government in South Sudan and Maham Betau Ikun take his the election, rewriting constitution, we have a census, we have a formation of national commission for election, that's the right man. And if Faridi Taban in charge, no one is going to complain, whether from Barakazal or whether from Equatoria or whether from Afanai. Everybody is going to agree. I bet you. Everybody is going to agree. And we need something good actually for our country. We are tired. Shuf, simple thing, back home, we are more affected. In simple negotiation, we are not with him. It doesn't matter. I don't care. As long he is going to deliver the services to the people of South Sudan, as long he is just, as long he cares about the people, that's the person that I want. But see, sometimes people, they mistreat you just being from that tribe or just having that name. And how this thing can change is a leadership, have to do something. And that's why a couple of weeks back I called for uprising, because South Sudanese, if we don't speak out and if we don't advocate and if we don't fight for our rights, no one. لأن الحرية ذاته الحرية ده ما بيدوق لو الحرية ده ما بيشتروا الحرية ده أنت بتاخده. When you are advocate for it, when you talk about it, when you needed it, that's how you get it. That's how you get it. But if you remain silent, actually will be a recipe for those who are in charge that you are supporting them. Like when you start speaking up, كلنا في diaspora, in US, in Canada, in Australia, and all this, when we have one voices, that's one voice will have effect. That's one voice will have effect. I'm not happy when I see people don't want, to interact together. Maybe we are different here in the state of Utah in the United States, because maybe we are so different. لما يكون في occasion ولا في حاجة كده نوير عنده مناسبة I will go. لو توك عنده مناسبة I will go. فجول عنده مناسبة I will go. The same thing, if I have, they will come. But in other part of the state, I don't see that. And I think should be good example, because instead just of involving ourselves في حاجات اللي بيعمل hatred وكراهية. أفضل we need to build a positive action, and being together, and forget about what happened in the past and advocate as one group, as one people. This is what we need to do. كلنا كجنوبيين أي زول لازم يتكلم. قضية ده ما قضية بتاع إكواتوريا، ما قضية بتاع بحرغزال، ما قضية بتاع أبا نايل، ده قضية بتاع جنوب السودان كله. قضية بتاع جنوب السودان كله. في فشل. SPLM فشل. عشان SPLM فشل نحن كلنا جنوبيين we have all to come together. شعب. كل كلام بيقولوا قال هم أنكولاد وناس الكبار, Kada shu bas simply Ethiopia. برغم إن Ethiopia is not exercising democracy, but they are growing every year 14%. 14% domestic growth في economy بتاعهم. It's not happening anywhere else in the world. Even though this great nation of United States, you know, the largest economy, they are growing only by what? By 2% or 1%. But look, Ethiopia, how they are growing right now. So NAS, they are going up and we are going down. And we are letting this thing actually to happen. Museveni is engineering it and we are just follow through. And we should not listen because Al-Harib Zaman can into values. Junubin Harabu can into values. Al-values there, we should not forget this, you know, those values. You know, we should continue with those values. لأن أنت أساسا لو هربت من أجل values, and then all of a sudden you see all goodies, the money, the power, all these things, and then you forget about the values, and then it means that you don't have value. بمعنى أنت ما عندك principle, and it's really shame, you know. So one more time again, I am so grateful because I have seen nowadays young women, young men, you know, elderly, they started speaking up. They started speaking up. Not too long ago, people used to call me and say, hey, you are a rebel. You know, we never have anyone from your family doing this and doing that and doing that. People from my own family, they criticize me. But you know what I tell them? I am 40 years old man. I don't care what you said. I have to do the right thing. I have to do the right thing. And I mind the groon, and I mind the daram. I am like any other South Sudanese. Al-haq yuqal. We must speak the truth. And the truth is the only thing that will liberate all South Sudanese. لكن أنا لما نقول أنا بسمع القبيلة بتاعي ولا أنا مع ده يا أخي نازل ما كويس ونازل ما كويسين. شوف فور إكزامبل أنا كلمت المرة اللي فاتت سياسات الحكومة فشل فيه. حتى مسألة بتاع تخطيط بتاع مراعي ساكت مهل كادل هيدرز مهل اللي بيكون فيه بقر. كلام ده سهلة. شوف هنا في يونايتد ستيت في مناطق مخططة في تكساس ده الرعاة بس بتاع البقر. In Utah, those of Utah, you know that Joseph Oride, those of Tremonton, they are مناطق بتاع الرعي. ولما تمشي like almost west of Windover, ده مناطق بتاع الرعي. أنت ما بتشوف البقر يجيبوه مثلا لسول ليك سيتي. or مثلا يشيلوه يدو أقدم. No, it's not gonna happen. شوف simple thing حكومة ما قادر يعملها. في ناس عايشين في جنوب السودان بزراعة. في ناس عايشين باللبن وبحاجات أفكار. أنا كدور بتاعي كمسؤول كحكومة أنا بخطط مراعي ونستفيد زاد من اللبن ديل. أقول لهم يا أخي ده المنطقة بتاعكم أنتوا راعوا البقر بتاعكم هنا عشان البقر ما يمشي في زراعة بتاع الناس ويمشي يعمل distraction وما يقدر يزرعوا ويخلق فتن وناس يشاكل. زي simple thing that الحاجات اللي كان حصل في يامبيو مثلا من 2009 and it keep continuing. Why people are migrating with the bugger? Why people are migrating? ليه؟ لأن حكومة أساسا فاشل. مفروض يخطط لهم مناطق بتاع راعي. أوكي أرعوا بقر هنا ونحن نعمل لكم مدرسة ونجي نشيل منكم اللبن ونجيب لكم دكتور. And that's gonna help them actually. You are helping them and they are helping the community to boost the economy. Rather than you leave them just they are going for nowhere and distract other people, you know, في زراعة وفي حاجات كثيرة, you know. So these are simple things, brothers. We need to speak up. I hope everybody will start speaking up because this is the time, you know. And I want you, by the way, you know, what you think about the opinion that I said about the Parida Taban. Is a neutral man and he should lead this nation. If the speculation that I'm hearing and the rumors that I'm hearing, that Kir has been pressured by the European Union and by United States and the other stakeholders, and he's willing to step aside, but they want to agree for Nyandeng to be in charge. I don't think so. That's a good idea. We have a neutral body. We have a neutral people who never involve themselves in a problem. People who are not part of this problem should lead this country, whether it's 1 year or whether it's 6 months, so we can have a fair election. I think that would be, you know, the good option. You know, give me your opinion and let us continue. Until I meet you next week, brothers and sisters, thank you so much and may God bless you.